Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, and Katt Williams have recently spoken out after some shocking documents connected to Diddy began making the rounds online. Believe it or not, even Elon Musk has chimed in, subtly sending warning signs to high-profile white celebrities entangled in this bizarre saga. Some of these individuals are reportedly scrambling to leave the country like it's a race against time.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Let's be clear, everything you're about to hear is based on online speculation, rumors, and sources who claim to be close to the matter. I'm just reporting what's being discussed out there, so don't come at me like I made any of this up.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not gonna speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
What did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking, and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, yo, man, I don't F with them, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the, and that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear it, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, you know, that's just something that I heard.
New claims are surfacing from inside the prison where Diddy is currently held, and it sounds like he might be ready to cooperate to secure a deal. The word is he's prepared to name names. According to Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, and Katt Williams, some major figures could be implicated, and one name in particular has shocked everyone: Steve Harvey. Yes, that's Steve Harvey. According to whispers online and Katt's cryptic comments, the moment Steve caught wind of Diddy's legal troubles, he didn't just back off, he disappeared. Allegedly, he boarded a private jet and went completely off the grid. He even scrubbed his social media accounts, erasing any evidence linking him to Diddy. That's not just distancing, that's full-on history deletion.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
Steve reportedly went so far as to delete a tweet from 2017 in which he praised Diddy as a positive influence on the youth. In light of current events, that tweet did not age well. And the more people dig into this, the more unsettling it becomes.
I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
Years ago, Steve seemed unbothered. He was vacationing in Italy with Diddy and Lori Harvey, who, let's not forget, had recently broken up with Diddy's son, Justin, only to start dating Diddy himself. The entire scenario was questionable. But what really disturbed people was a photo of Lori wearing white nail polish. That might seem like a small detail, but it connects to disturbing allegations in the Diddy case. In her lawsuit, Cassie claimed Diddy had a strange fixation with white nails. He allegedly required women around him to wear them during his so-called freak-offs, not for fashion, but for contrast in explicit videos he recorded during those encounters.
She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
And here's where it gets even more disturbing. Young Miami also had white nails. And shockingly, so did Diddy's own mother. Naturally, people started asking tough questions. Did Steve Harvey truly have no idea about any of this? Or was he intentionally aligning with Diddy to gain access to Hollywood's elite inner circle? At the time, Diddy wasn't just another celebrity, he was a billionaire running Revolt TV and associating with the most powerful figures in entertainment. That's exactly why many online believe that if Diddy starts naming names, we might finally understand why Steve Harvey exited the scene so quickly. But the story doesn't end there.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
It's a special birthday for both of us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Meek Mill. Ever since Diddy's arrest made headlines, Meek has been unusually silent, which stands out considering he and Diddy weren't just casual acquaintances. They shared a personal history. Remember that odd video? From the pool, Diddy in the water, calling Meek daddy and telling him, "I love you." At the time, people joked about it. But now, in light of recent revelations, that clip feels entirely different and unsettling. And just as Diddy's legal situation escalated, with lawsuits beginning to implicate various names, Meek suddenly disappeared from public view.
The irony is, there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened.
According to Little Rod, who is one of the individuals suing Diddy, he alleged that Diddy was offering Meek Mill favors and deals in exchange for certain favors of his own. That kind of claim definitely turned heads. So how did Meek respond? He packed up and flew to Africa. Not long after, he started posting vague and cryptic tweets. In one of them, he mentioned spending $100,000 to find out who was trying to associate his name with Diddy. But the internet, they're not letting this slide.
Do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
There's talk going around that Meek's doing serious damage control because he might actually appear in footage the authorities have obtained. If that's even partially accurate, it's no longer a question of if but when the truth gets revealed once the case moves forward. For now, he's pretending like nothing's happening. But let's be honest, no one's convinced. And Meek's not the only one feeling the heat. Usher's name is getting pulled into this mess. 2, he's had a long-standing relationship with Diddy, and now people are starting to look closer at that past connection.
Yeah, no, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Then the after party.
No, I know about them.
Back when Usher was just 13 years old, he was reportedly sent to Diddy's so-called flavor camp. Now, people are asking serious questions about what actually happened during that time. And we can't ignore what Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, alleged, claiming Diddy once sent Usher to the hospital with injuries too disturbing to detail. That accusation alone is deeply troubling. And if that wasn't enough, go revisit that old interview with Kevin Hart, where Diddy casually joked about waking up in bed with Usher when they were younger. Back then, it was brushed off as harmless. But in light of current revelations, no one's laughing anymore. If Usher ends up being connected to any of this, he better have legal representation ready, because if Diddy starts talking, things could escalate quickly.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Now, let's turn to Jay-Z. He and Diddy have been closely aligned for years, partnering on business ventures, attending the same events, and moving in the same elite circles. But here's where things take a darker twist. A woman named Kathy, white. Street rumors have long claimed that Kathy was Jay-Z's mistress, and she allegedly died after becoming pregnant by him. It's always been speculation until now. Some are saying Diddy might have solid evidence, recordings, messages, maybe even something more damaging. If true, that's explosive, but that's not the only controversy Jay-Z has been linked to. A few months ago, an anonymous woman filed a lawsuit accusing both Jay-Z and Diddy of sexual assault at an after-party following the 2000 VMAs. She claimed it happened at a private apartment in New York, but once the case reached court, her story began to unravel. She said her father picked her up after the incident, but during testimony, he stated he couldn't recall anything like that. She also claimed she spoke to Benji Madden at the party, but Madden denied even being in New York at the time. The inconsistencies were too many, and the judge dismissed the case. Still, that hasn't stopped the public from talking.
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public. And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Jaguar Wright stepped into the conversation and went directly at Jay-Z, intensifying the situation even more. Fans are closely watching every development. Jaguar didn't mince words. She claimed Jay-Z is just as corrupt as Diddy, if not worse. She even referred to him as the devil, her words, not ours. If Diddy truly has anything that links Jay-Z to those alleged freak-off events, things could escalate quickly. And then there's that old Diddy birthday clip him singing to French Montana, both of them covered in baby oil. Back then, people made jokes about it, but after reports revealed that federal agents discovered over 1,000 bottles of baby oil at Diddy's residence, that video is being viewed in a completely different light. On top of that, Jennifer Lopez's name has come up again. People are revisiting the infamous club shooting incident involving Chime. New claims suggest J-Lo may have known exactly what happened that night. Allegedly, she had the weapon in her purse and later lied to the grand jury. If true, that's not just reckless, it's illegal. One of the victims from that night, Nada Rubin, still wants answers. She's pushing to have the case reopened and has even said she's willing to have fragments removed from her face to prove J-Lo has been hiding the truth for years. According to Rubin, both Diddy and J-Lo should be held accountable, and just as things seemed to reach a boiling point, Katt Williams and Terrence Howard began naming names. Now, even white celebrities are getting pulled into the controversy. Let's look at the ones who've recently disappeared from public view. We're talking full-on vanishings. Even Elon Musk weighed in. He reposted a tweet calling out Ellen DeGeneres for abruptly leaving the country shortly after the Diddy allegations surfaced.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
Can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
And here's the twist. Ellen didn't just fall silent, she vanished completely. A recent photo surfaced showing her in a quiet English pub, sporting a totally new look, new hairstyle, new energy, as if she's trying to reinvent herself. She says she left to escape the noise in the US, but many people aren't convinced. Given her past connection with Diddy, the theory that she's intentionally staying under the radar doesn't seem far-fetched. Ellen and Diddy shared a lot of on-air moments, joking, laughing, and dropping vague hints about past experiences they didn't elaborate on. In 2016, Ellen even tweeted him a birthday message calling him Cuddled McNuggle Stuff, adding, "Y'all don't need to know why." Well, now everyone's wondering exactly what that meant. Let's also not forget Ellen's reputation. Behind the scenes, former employees accuse her of running one of the most toxic workplaces in Hollywood. And now, there's renewed interest in the fact that two of her past romantic partners reportedly passed away under questionable circumstances. Some believe Diddy may have helped cover up more than anyone suspected.
So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you punch them in the mouth, knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're gonna get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room.
Right after Joe Rogan gave a detailed breakdown of the situation, Katt Williams stepped in and took it even further. And let's just say he didn't hold anything back. For a long time, many dismissed Katt as just being over the top. But now, people are starting to believe he may have been ahead of his time because the entire industry is coming under scrutiny. Katt made his point very clear. It doesn't matter what your background is, black, white, or otherwise. If you were involved in questionable behavior behind the scenes, it's going to be exposed. And now, another major name is under the microscope, Leonardo DiCaprio. As soon as the Diddy situation started unraveling, Leo was seen boarding a private jet to Italy. His reason? A vacation with his new girlfriend.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did.
But the timing? Way too perfect, especially since old photos just resurfaced from 1998 at Diddy's East Hampton mansion. And who's seen hanging out in the background? Leonardo DiCaprio. Now people are starting to raise real questions. How close was his relationship with Diddy, really? Rumors suggest that Leo and Diddy were tight back in the early 2000s, so close, in fact, that Diddy once called Leo his top VIP pick for those well-known white parties. And right after those photos made the rounds, Leonardo's team quickly responded, saying he hasn't had any contact with Diddy in years. Convenient timing, wouldn't you say? Now let's shift to Ashton Kutcher. A lot of folks seem to forget his MTV-era connection with Diddy runs deep. This wasn't a casual acquaintance, they even ran the New York Marathon together. Ashton was also front and center at Diddy's 2009 white party. That kind of presence says more than a friendly hello. Remember that Hot Ones interview? When Ashton was asked about Diddy's parties, he got noticeably uncomfortable. Said he had stories but couldn't talk about them. Well, it's beginning to make sense why he kept quiet. According to In Touch, Ashton and Mila Kunis are preparing for a full departure from Hollywood. Reportedly, they're planning to relocate to Europe and start fresh. Officially, it's about leaving fame behind, but online, many suspect it's an attempt to avoid the fallout as Diddy's legal situation continues to escalate. And just when things couldn't seem more intense, Terrence Howard stepped up and dropped a serious revelation. During an appearance on the PBD podcast, he was straightforward, no riddles, no vague hints. He laid it out clearly. According to Terrence, Diddy approached him under the pretense of a business opportunity. Initially, it looked like Diddy simply wanted to support his acting.
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop shit. I said, Martin, you got my word. Go do what you gotta do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's house too.
But things shifted quickly. What started as casual visits to the studio, supposedly for music, turned out to be something entirely different. Terrence said the whole setup was just a cover to get closer. Uncomfortably close. It got to the point where Terrence's own assistant pulled him aside and warned, he's trying to sleep with you. That was all Terrence needed to hear. He cut TIs, went silent, locked every door, and moved on. But he didn't stop there. He emphasized that Diddy wasn't the only one pulling this kind of move. According to Terrence, this behavior is part of a broader issue in the industry. Multiple major producers had tried similar tactics. He explained that when a man enters a space, there's a shift in energy, he's perceived differently. And the moment someone refuses to go along with the underlying agenda, the consequences come fast. No more invites, no more deals, no return calls.
I haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
According to Terrence, that's exactly why certain celebrities suddenly disappear or fade out. They choose not to participate, and that decision comes with a cost. Then Katt Williams jumped in to confirm everything. And he wasn't joking. He shared that he turned down $50 million worth of offers not once, but 4 times, all to protect his name and integrity. When he said he was protecting his virgin hole, he wasn't being comedic. He meant that literally. Katt explained that too many people don't fully understand what they're agreeing to in pursuit of fame and fortune. And by the time they do, it's often too late.